everybody, I'm Jenna Culley, owner and one of the lead planners for Jenna Culley Events. And I am hopping on here today because I've written a blog post called Why Wedding Vendors Have Non-Refundable Deposits. And alongside each of my blog posts, I like to do a little video because if you're anything like me, sometimes it's easier to listen to things while I'm doing 1,400 other things than it is to sit down and read a blog post. However, there are some links and things within each blog post, so you may want to head over to check those out if you like the content in here. But let's dive into the topic of why do vendors have non-refundable deposits. Now, this is not necessarily a fun topic. It's not even a fun one for me to blog or talk about, but mostly because I'm a Midwestern girl at heart, and we all know that we don't like talking about icky topics such as money and what could go wrong and all of those things, right? That wasn't even a Midwestern accent, I don't know. But it's okay. We're gonna talk about this topic today because it's important and because most couples who are just getting married have never gone through this before. And unless you have an event planning background, you wouldn't really know what event contracts look like or include or why certain things are in place. So part of my goal in writing this blog post and talking to you today about it is kind of lowering the curtain, okay, between couples and wedding vendors, and just kind of let you take a little peek behind the curtain of why we have this policy, so that you're well educated and understand, but also so that you can see kind of the vendor's side of why it's important for us to have non-refundable deposits and why it ultimately helps you as a couple and have reputable vendors to go to. So let's just dive in. So the first reason that we have non-refundable deposits is because a very unfortunate statistic, yeah, my brain and mouth don't even like that word. An unfortunate statistic is that people break off engagements 20% of the time. What that means from a business perspective is that 1 in every 5 clients could break off their engagement and could end up not getting married, okay? And I actually have a link in the article to the research behind that, so you can take a look at that. But it would mean that we would lose up to 20% of our business every year from no fault of our own, simply because people break off engagements 20% of the time. So from a business perspective, we have to protect ourselves in that, just because that unfortunate statistic is true. So that's number 1. Number 2 is the I changed my mind mentality. And as a new bride or groom, okay, there are thousands of shiny objects in the wedding industry. Hopefully some of them with diamonds attached, right? But you can see what people are doing, everywhere now. Pinterest and Facebook and Instagram and, going and attending weddings and all of that. You see what's all out there. And where you start to go down one path, right? You're like, ooh, I love this venue. This is going to be fantastic. And then all of a sudden you go to an amazing wedding at a different venue. And it's like, oh my gosh, but that's even more amazing. I want to get married there, right? This happens a lot. I mean, it happens a lot in the industry that couples change their mind. And so because of that, we have non-refundable deposits because we just literally, as business owners, can't be saying like, oh, sure, we can give you back your money that you just paid us 2 weeks ago because you saw this new thing and now you want to go with that person instead. It's just not feasible for us. It's hard to control cash flow that way. And it could be that we've reserved that weekend, right? We've reserved that weekend, we've turned down other business, or we're getting so close to the wedding date that we couldn't replace it. So that's number 2 is just the I changed my mind mentality. Number 3 is kind of what I was just talking about, is that one of our biggest resources in the wedding industry is our available weekends. Okay, most people get married on a weekend, right? Although Thursday weddings are becoming more popular all of a sudden, but Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And if you're a solopreneur, you may only be able to take one wedding, one weekend, which means you have 4 opportunities in a month to have a wedding and make money, right? If one of those weekends goes away, we just lost 25% of our income for that month. And that is really hard to sustain a business, a family, just generally a life where you may lose 25 or 50 or 75% of your income one month if weddings cancel, postpone, change their mind, whatever it may be, right? If we are losing 25% of our income for that particular month and have to pay a deposit back, we're doubly out, right? We're out multiple times. And if things, if it's far enough or close enough to the wedding that we can't replace that income, that's really tough too. And it's not that we get a bunch of inquiries all for particular weekends, either. So we may not be able to actually replace that income at all, no matter how far out from the wedding date that we are. So, and we've already reserved it, or we've turned down other business, or whatever it may be. So that's really, those three reasons are really the reasons that wedding vendors have non-refundable deposits. And here's why it's important for you to have vendors that have those non-refundable deposits. If we did not have those policies, and all of that uncertainty was happening, right? And we were constantly having to give deposits back, really, really good vendors would go out of business. And you want really, really good vendors to stay in business so that you have them available for your wedding date and available to help serve you and everything on that most important day of your wedding. You want people that have certain policies and procedures in place because you know that they are serious businesses that are going to be in this for the long haul and do the right things, okay? So it's actually a good thing for the industry in general that policy is in place. Now, one caveat to this, where you should get your deposit back, okay, is if a vendor is not holding up to their contractual agreement of information or products or whatever it may be that they are supposed to be getting for you, okay? But I also want to stress, this is what they are contractually obligated to, not what you think they should be doing, okay? There's a lot of misconceptions on what, certain vendors should be doing or shouldn't be doing or whatever it may be, okay? But if they have said, we meet on this date and I'm gonna get you information by 1 week later, and they don't have that information to you, right? And it's a repeatedly done thing, right? Like, we're all still human. Sometimes we just forget, or we, something comes up, whatever it may be. But if they were not doing what they contractually said they were going to do for you time and time again, absolutely, you should get your deposit back. What you're going to want to do is make sure that you talk to that vendor, okay? Maybe somebody got sick, maybe, again, life happens. Talk to that vendor, see what's going on, and have it in writing that you reached out and that you were trying to work with that person. Because if you do decide to it would take legal action to get your deposit back. If you do decide to do that, you want to have things documented, okay? So if you are having a vendor, there are people in the industry that just aren't great, right? So if you have a vendor that you feel like is not doing well with their what they had contractually said they were going to do for you, absolutely, you are justified to get your money back. So that's my one caveat on all of this. But I really, like I said at the beginning, I really just wanted to kind of lower the curtain and let you guys get a peek behind to see why wedding vendors have non-refundable deposits and why we have those policies in place, and ultimately how it helps create a better industry and better weddings for all of you. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I would love to hear answer and hear your opinions on this. You can comment below. You can reach out to me directly. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So by all means, please let me know what I can help you with, and sending big hugs. So